And so I ended up giving my life back to spirit. I was told my life came from spirit. And so I said, okay, well, I'll give my life back to spirit and then see if spirit can give me direction and if there's any truth to this. And the direction was really overwhelming.
I've heard this story that you've shared on other podcasts, but like you kind of touched on there, like leading into when you started to get these spontaneous visions, you weren't really following a spiritual path consciously at all. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's even worse than that. I had no connection with the idea of spirit at all. I mean, none. It was completely foreign to me. I was blocked off and only understood reality in a very limited way and understood the mind in that way. And then I ended up having, like I say, these experiences that came from a real cathartic capitulation in my life where I decided that, just the simple ego-based life and the me of life wasn't as interesting or really had direction for me. And so I ended up giving my life back to spirit. I was told my life came from spirit. And so I said, okay, well, I'll give my life back to spirit and then see if spirit can give me direction and if there's any truth to this. And the direction was really overwhelming. It was much more than I expected and a much faster and more violent response than I really thought was going to happen. But it sent me on a new life course immediately, really. And it really, the opening to spirit was so intense and vibrant and incredible that it made everything else I was interested in at that time pale in comparison.
Can I ask a little bit more detail about these? Like, was it in dream states? Would you go into would they just kind of happen when you're sitting there alone at home or something? Like, what were these experiences like?
Sure. Well, after I gave my life back to spirit, it took about somewhere between 24 and 48 hours for spirit to start to appear in a way that I could relate to. And it started in dreams in one night. And then by the very next morning, I was seeing entities around me all the time. And there was a specific group of them, and I got confirmation from my mother as well as other people that they actually knew the entities that were around me, that one was a deceased friend and mentor of my mother, and others were visible to actually other people, which was mind-blowing to me. And so at first I thought these experiences were only related solely to me, and then I started to, almost immediately, it was like it was set up. It was like these entities appeared, and then they were with me all the time, a minimum of 3 of them or more for a very long period of time. And like I said, ultimately other people were seeing them too and I never told anybody that I was having this experience,
Yeah.
And so when people would reach out and say like, hey, there's like this entity standing right here behind your right shoulder. It's a woman who looks like this with brown hair, and described to me the height and weight and build of the person. And it was exactly what I knew and was seeing there too, that had been whispering in my ear. It started to make me take these experiences incredibly seriously, not just as something that was unfolding in my own life, but of a kind of deeper connection to something that still needed to be explored and understood. It was at that time so foreign and so new to me. But ultimately I found other evidence, ethnographic evidence and anthropological evidence in shamanism as a field that was really quite open about the kinds of experiences that I was having. And I read a number of accounts of people having sort of a traditional awakening to spirit in these tribal societies, and they were having identical experiences to me in the dream state and outside of the dream state. And so because I felt this akin to those stories and those mythologies on what was happening to me, I decided to use shamanism as a means to try to go on that journey of self-exploration, answer the questions of what's going on. And ultimately that led to meeting master shamans who took me under their wing, which I think is a gift that has no measure, that these mentors really did take me in and shared with me beyond the boundaries of their own culture these incredible mystical arts that are found in the Amazon that are alive and well today and now have been, talked about for over a decade, and people from all over the world have come to seek and participate in.